Welcome to Ruby Thursday. I'm Melissa Wanish. This is RubySnack number 37, Meet Rails 5, Part 3, Upgrade from Rails 4. In this episode, we'll go over preparing for the upgrade, upgrading step by step, running the update task, and then adding new files and configurations. If you want to code along, you'll need a Rails 4 app created with at least some features built. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to upgrade a blank app. You can check out these other episodes in the series, RubySnack number 35, where we tour the Rails 5 generator, and RubySnack number 36, where we go over more generators and other fun changes. First, we need to prepare for the upgrade. Be sure to add enough tests to have good test coverage. I suggest at least having major features tested. Not every line of code in your app needs to be tested at this point, but be sure to have major features that are customer-facing tested. You can use a tool like SimpleCov to really dig into your code if you want. If there's just not the time for it or the budget, at least have some feature tests. Next, make sure you are using at least the minimum Ruby version. For Rails 5, you'll need Ruby 2.2.2 or newer. I do recommend going ahead and updating other gems that you're using. I didn't in this app, and I wish I had, but you'll see what I mean in just a moment. After you've done that, it's time to upgrade step by step. First up, be sure to run your tests and make sure they're passing. Then upgrade to the latest patch version first. So at the time of this recording, that was Rails 4.2.7. And then just update Rails, bundle update Rails. Then, of course, run your test again. And if everything passes, go ahead and upgrade to Rails 5. Then you can either run bundle update Rails if you've updated all your other gems already, or bundle update to run everything at once. Be super careful about that bundle update command. I ran it once on an app and it took me a week to untangle the mess. If you've been keeping things up to date, or if it's not a very old app, you won't be in too much trouble. But if it's a little older, I definitely would recommend updating gems one at a time and running your tests. Opening up my app in my command line, I'm going to run my test. I've sped this up for time's sake. You see that I'm actually updating the Ruby Thursday site, and that I've started a new branch, so I can do all of this on a branch and not on my master branch. So my tests are passing. Let's go ahead and update to 4.2.7 and save. You change it right there in your gem file. Now we're going to run bundle update just Rails. And I've sped this up as well. Not too many things changed with just a patch update. Now let's run our test again. I'm running RSpec. Oh, see, there is something coming up, a depreciation notice that we'll need to take care of. But they all pass. All right, and we see that's actually happening with Sass Rails. So let's update just Sass Rails first. And now let's run our test again, see if that depreciation notice actually goes away. Just need to read through what the message is giving you to find the culprit. And we see that message is not there and a pass. Now let's go ahead and save where we are now and commit just upgrading to 4.2.7. It's good to make these commits so that if something crazy happens, you can always go back to a previous commit. All right, moment of truth, let's go ahead and update and change that to 5.0. Always fun when you go to a brand new major version. All right, now I ran the bundle update just Rails, and it's going to give me a couple of conflicts. All of these other gems need to be updated first. Now I've looked through them and I see that really only it's devise that's a major one. Other ones are testing gems. So I'm going to go ahead and run bundle update because I feel secure that my tests are going to run and find any errors that might be happening with the upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and run bundle update. And you see lots of stuff is updating to the newest versions, and that's all right. There we go. Now that we're running Rails 5, we can run an update task that helps bring in new configurations to our files. you can run Rails app :update, and they added this in Rails 4.2. I highly recommend during the process using the D command to see the differences and decide on accepting the changes or not. And of course, after this step, we're going to run our tests. Back in the terminal, I have that command all ready to go. And it comes up with the first file that we're going to look at. That one I know I haven't changed, so I'm just going to say yes to that. And then you can always type in H to see what the commands mean. So now I'm going to type D and see what the differences are in the routes file. So actually it's taking out all of the routes that I've put in. So I'm going to scroll on up and see that there's a bunch of notes, but then it's also taking away all the routes I currently have and just putting in what would be there at the beginning. So I don't want to change this. I know there's notes I could take out, but I'm just going to say no and leave it as is. Let's see what's different in application.rb. I see that it's going to remove a line I had put in to make sure to load the fonts, but now there's a new manifest.js file, so I'm going to use that. I'm just going to make a note that I'm going to change that and let this task replace the application.rb. And so I'm just going to say yes. Then let's check out config environment.rb. See those differences. And it's a very small change. You'll see that when you generate a new Rails 5 app, so I'm going to say yes to that. Let's see what's different about our secrets YML. Okay, so it's regenerated the secret key base for development and test, and then it's just changed the case for the environmental variable. I'm going with the styling of lowercase, but I'm just going to say yes to this for now because it's way easier to change just that one little line than those big long keys again. So for now, I'll say yes, and then I'll go back and make that change. So now it's looking in development RB, and really it's just changed around what I already have there, so we'll say yes to this. Now for production RB, though, it's going to take out some configurations I have for Action Mailer, so I'm going to say no. I don't think the things that they're really adding I really need, and I could always go grab that from a Rails 5, and some things they're just putting in different places. It's changing the line order. So I'm going to say no, I want to leave production alone. Let's see what's different in the test. You know, the test one looks fine. Let's just say yes to that. I haven't really put in anything new in there that's different, so we'll say yes to that. Next is a initializer for cookie serializer. I haven't changed that, so we're just going to say yes. The wrap parameters, let's look at it. I didn't make any changes there, so we'll say yes. Let's go with the new syntax. And then bin Rails is new syntax. Let's go ahead and make that change and say yes. And the same thing for rake. They've changed that up. I did see this when I generated Rails 5, so I'm just going to say yes. Taking a look at bin setup, I haven't changed anything here either. So we're just going to say yes. And that's it for the update task. Now I'm going to deal with some of my notes. I'm going to add in that manifest.js file. And I have my Rails 5 example next to it, so I can simply copy paste and put that into my new file. And then I need to add that I want it to also load the assets from fonts. I have some custom fonts on the Ruby Thursday site. We'll save that. Now let's go ahead into that secrets YML, and I'm going to put it back the way I had it as lowercase. That's generally the style used by Figaro, so I'm going with that. Now we're going to add some new files and configurations that the update task doesn't mention, but it's mentioned in the upgrading documentation that I'll share at the end. First, we're going to add to our models directory a new file called application record, and then we'll add that new code there. Then we will change the models to inherit from application record instead of active record base. Then I didn't actually have any jobs, but if you have jobs, be sure to add this application job.rb file in your jobs directory. And be sure to change the jobs to inherit from application job. And of course, run your tests. Back in our text editor, I'm adding that new file to models. Going to save it as application record.rb. And then I'm going to go over here to my Rails 5 example and copy, Paste the new code in there. Go ahead into each of my models and instead have it inherit from application record. Saving each of those. I don't have a ton of models on this project yet, but I'm changing those. And you see I don't have any jobs. When I do run my next jobs generator, it will put in all those files that it's missing. Now I'm running the test again, and I've sped this up again, and they all pass. Yay! Let's go ahead and run git status. Lots of files added, lots of files changed. Let's go ahead and git add all of those, and then commit that we upgrade to Rails 5. For more information on upgrading to Rails 5, be sure to check out the Edge guides for upgrading Ruby on Rails. That's it for this episode of Ruby Thursday. I hope it helps you upgrade your app to Rails 5. To make sure you don't miss the next RubySnack, be sure to head on over to rubythursday.com to sign up for my mailing list. And if you are not already subscribed on YouTube, click that big red button to do so. The YouTube subscribers get the videos just a little bit sooner. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.